So I need to figure out the termination resistors. There's 20 of them to be installed down here that are 470 ohm, and there's 3 up here that are 4.7K. So this is maybe mounted on backplane. I don't have a backplane, so I won't be doing that, but I need to figure out how to mount these. And the first thing I'm looking at this is, of course, the plus copper doesn't run all the way down, so that the resistor can't stand out, you know, at 90 degrees. It's going to be at an angle to get it to fit in there. So I've got 3 of them bent here in what I think is going to be my final pattern. What I'm doing is taking an individual resistor. So we'll take this one here. Well, I have enough here. I can take ones that don't have great leads and ignore them. And I'm going to bend the leads on the 16 position here. And then going to take the lead coming off the yellow band, so over here to the narrowest part of, and I'm going to bend it out. I'm going to trim it down to a reasonable length, and it'll get dropped in like so. And so really it just becomes soldering these and getting them to look reasonably square. So I think that's the approach I'm going to take. I have enough room up here that'll work as well. It's kind of odd, but it'll work just fine. So really it's just going to become, you know, mostly mechanical work here, honestly. Got too many leads hanging over too many things. So let me put some solder on this first one. Kind of use it to set the angle I want. I'd like them all to be at about the same angle. This is before I do the bulk soldering for the 5 volts over here. I'm just trying to get an idea of what it's going to look like. And am I happy with this? I really think I'm going to want to get them all soldered on the one side first, then if I'm happy, I can come back and tack the other side. So it looks to me like these are starting to fan out, and it's just hard to say whether they are or not. So let's get some more in there and see what we get. Like I said, I'm calling them termination. They're pull-up resistors for all the open collector drivers, but they are effectively termination as well. They are starting to fan out and a little bit broader than I wanted, and that's why I wanted to actually get them all in place first, and then I can work on getting them even. Well, it would be a day in my lab without something getting chucked to the floor. It was just kind of a fluke. I had all of these resistors. I've got several little containers of just resistors I've collected over the years, and I took a dig in it and I found these they're carbon composite resistors, and they are period accurate, which is why I wanted them, is they are very vintage. They are accurate to the period this board would have been produced. And that was part of the idea with this build, was to get it to look as period appropriate as possible, and that's why I spent the extra money to get the vintage look parts from Glitch as well. Is, you know, I want it to look the part and help celebrate the cool bit of technology it was back then, and still really is. And when we finally get it running the TIM monitor, it's going to be very cool. This may become one of my prized pieces just because of how unique it is. I didn't realize how rare the 6501s were. Of course, that supposes my 6501 is operational. I guess really that's not too bad. Well, I look forward to your feedback in the comments, whether you think this is worth all of the effort I'm putting into it or not. I believe it is. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. Now normally this termination would be done... Oh, I didn't solder them. Normally this termination is done on the backplane. I think I've already said this, and since I don't have a backplane for this, it is meant to be a single board computer. I'm putting the termination directly on the CPU card. And again, when I emailed with Glitch about this, he said, oh, I hadn't even considered that, since he's always working with cards with backplanes to provide the termination. So I don't know if he'll make that an option with the kit at some point, or I guess now I can really just adjust these. They're fairly consistent. This first one, yeah, they're fairly consistent. That's not too awful bad. I can trim a little bit of the excess length off of him. And kind of some of them have some twist to them. Not that it's ever going to be perfect, it's not. I think that looks okay. Really now it's going to become, go with a little bit heavier tip. And really just soldering down this side of everybody. And yeah, it's not perhaps the most elegant solution, but it works. We can flip this over now, and we need to solder these from the back side to actually get good solder joints. Hopefully this is somewhat on camera. It's starting to cool off here in the Pacific Northwest. We are definitely headed into fall. It's no surprise. It happens. So thoughts? Not horrible. Resistors aren't sitting down flush, but I knew they wouldn't because it's just the way I'm mounting them. But they're there. They're consistent enough. It doesn't look horrid. I've got 8 more I need to do here that will be done the same way. I won't bore you with the soldering, the additional soldering here to get those in, and I guess I will see you in a future video.